Welcome to another edition of Brian's Big Idea. And today, my big idea is chips. And in a former life, I used to say chips are for dips. But lately, the whole economy seems to be tied to one company and its huge involvement in AI. And of course, I'm talking about NVIDIA. But there's a couple other chip names that are making some big news, and I want to profile them as well. So let's just jump right into this, shall we? First up is Supermicro Computer. You know it as SMCI. It's a Zacks rank number 2, and that gives it a buy rating. But as we can see from the chart, where there was an earnings miss here, and then the stock price tumbled the other day. Well, there was a short report from Hindenburg Research, who is putting up quite a name for themselves lately. They have picked quite a few stocks that have been significantly overvalued, and they're basically accusing Supermicro of aggressive accounting. And I saw the report, part of it was suggesting that they are booking revenue that, recognizing revenue that it's not fully shipped. So I don't want to throw that F word out there, but some people are calling it a fraud, and that really put a damper on things the other day when that stock fell by more than $100 per share. But you can see it's bouncing back. I think it dipped down to around 400 the other day, but all the way back to 459, 460. So are things that bad? I don't know. Usually when a company gets a short report like this, they come out with a very quick response. Supermicro has not come out with a response yet. Not a good sign. Also, after the short report, then they announced that they're going to delay their 10K. So clearly they're going to try to fix those issues, maybe fix them all, and hopefully that'll get the luster, bring the shine back to this particular company. Stock is very volatile though, so this is you got to position sizing on this one is paramount. Now trades at only 13 times earnings after the big 100-point dump, 25% yesterday. All right, let's go to the other stock. It is NVIDIA. Everyone knows it. It's NVDA. It's the Zacks rank number 3 right now because it just reported earnings, and that window for estimate changes is kind of closed for it, but the earnings estimates are being readjusted this morning. Most of the covering analysts, those that work at Merrill or Goldman, Needham, or wherever, their estimates just came in this morning. It's going to take the system a day to kind of shuffle those all in. It's got my growth profile that I love to see, and A for growth and F for value. It tells me it's all about the growth here. They beat numbers. They guided higher, but there's concern around this Blackwell chip that isn't going to start shipping until the end of the year. And boy, we really need to see that start moving in because the expectations are super high. $3 trillion. Your market cap on NVIDIA. What's going to happen here on out for NVIDIA? I think you're caught in a range between 120 and 140, give or take, maybe even $5, maybe 115 to 145. But I have to believe that the value of this stock continues to move higher because the new chip cycle comes out, their new processor, whatever that H100, H1100 thing is, and the Blackwell, those things are coming out, and that's going to drive sales. All right, so that's 2 names now that you probably are familiar with, but I'm going to give you another one. Nova, NVMI. This is in the semiconductor space. It's a Zacks rank number 1. That's a strong buy. C for growth, F for value, and a $6 billion market cap. So much smaller than the other 2, but I figured we'd go take a look at all the numbers that I normally love to look at just to see on any sort of stock. Are you beating the number? The answer is yes, you're beating the number. This is the detail list. Way. Let's take a look at our estimates. How are they trending? Your estimates have gone from $1.46 to $1.68, 154 to 175. That's for the next 2 quarters. For this year, 562 to 639. Nice big pop. Next year, 642 to 728. All those numbers are trending higher. chips are in fact fine if you think about them this way. This year, we're going to have 25% top line growth to 647 million. Next year, slowing down a little bit, but still very strong, 18% to $765 million. A lot of money. All right, we're trading at 34 times, and that's below our growth rate there of 27%. Our price to book is very low for this style industry here, 7 times. Price to sales, 11 times. That's all right. That's okay. And here's our margins. They're holding steady at the 27, inching higher, we'll call it. 27.2 to 27.4 to 28.5. So inching higher, but good margins there. And then we're gonna take a look at a chart. We have technical difficulties with our normal charts. So we're just gonna look at this one. We can see big up move and then a down move here. Was that? I think that was the could be that yen carry trade thing, spook in the market the other week, and then back up. All right, so 224. So I would expect this stock to trade in that 240 to 260 range, given going for the next few months, even though it's a 222. So I'm not going to say the bottom end is 240. I can say the bottom end is maybe 210, maybe somewhere in there. But I would expect things to continue higher because chips keep moving. All right, so that's a look at 3 chip stocks. Let's tie this into one of the great services at Zacks Investment Research, and that's Tech Innovators. Tech Innovators is a service that looks at all sorts of things, gives you a nightly recap of what's going on with the NVIDIA's earnings. There's some other stocks in his portfolio, but I am going to highlight this because Andrew Rocco he held SMCI in the portfolio, and on Monday, on the heels of the short report, he dumped it. And he avoided that 25% drawdown the following day. And we can see that he has posted some outstanding gains. Tesla, actually, I think that was my win on Tesla. I had 1,000% winner when I ran this portfolio in the past. But Andrew is responsible for all the wins this year, including a very nice win of 147% for NVIDIA. That's this one right here on your all-time high list. And an earlier gigantic win on SMCI. Go figure. Also, a good win here on Carvana. That stock had a big move. So Andrew Rocco picking out all sorts of good tech stocks for you. Importantly, and I think this is the point I want to stress on this, he finds the stocks that are not only good to buy, but he has a good idea of when to sell. So obviously, he was able to get out of SMCI before the move lower. So therefore, it's a big portfolio that I want you to think about subscribing to because he finds all those great tech stocks. Importantly, when to buy them. Almost more importantly, when to sell them. All right, so be sure to check out Tech Innovators and check out Brian's big idea next week when I take a look at some stocks in one of the great services here at Zacks. But until then, why don't you go to our Zacks.com/promo to check out all of our latest promotions.